Friday, everyone. Hope you're well. Please stay safe. This commentary, sadly, is about the passing of Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy, and the information pertaining to the known cause of their deaths. He was a elderly person, 95 years of age, a blessing to even live that long. I believe the wife was 63, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to read a said commentary by Today News if you need a source and verification. As this will be an ever evolving story until all information is come in and verified. But I thank you all for joining me. This is live number 2. Please check out my last live pertaining to the Proudfoots and Mr. Nick Barris's Facebook Live pertaining to the investigation. Follow my previous content of the case, Wednesday marking 1 year that the child went missing in Hendersonville, Tennessee. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $BeganG129 Cash App, stickers and chats are always welcome during the live stream. Prayers to the Hackman Arakawa family. Mr. Hackman has 3 children. And when I get information pertaining to their commentary, I'll also bring you an update, or I will put a short in the YouTube queue. This is the said information. Once again, condolences to the families, friends of Mr. Gene and Miss Betsy. What happened here? It's just foul play. It's just accidental. It's just a case of one person died and the other person died from heartbreak. Or could it be that Mr. Hackman passed away? The wife was overwhelmed, got beside herself, and maybe unalived herself. So far, there's no detection of carbon monoxide or visible injuries to the victims. What happened in this massive size home? We will see. Thank you for joining me.
Who's leading this investigation, along with Santa Fe's Fire Chief Brian Moya, whose team was the first to arrive at Hackman's home. Good morning to both of you. Sheriff, let me start with you. Do you have any more insight this morning on what may have led to these deaths?
Right now, we don't. Of course, we executed the search warrant yesterday, starting on the evening of 6th, all into yesterday afternoon. And one of our investigators attended the autopsy yesterday. We don't have more information. We're trying to put things together, put together a timeline when the decedents were last seen or spoken to. Of course, we understand the challenge because they were very private individuals in a private family. So we're trying to put all that information together right now.
The officers did conclude that the 2 had been deceased for some time. Any sense of the timeline? I mean, are we talking days? Are we talking weeks?
Yeah, so it's very difficult to put a timeline together, even with the help of the Office of the Medical Investigator, just based on their body and other evidence on the body. It appears several days, possibly even up to a couple of weeks.
Any insight in terms of the 2 of them? Did it appear that they had passed at the same time, or had one passed before the other?
I think that's very difficult to determine. I think it's going to be pretty close. There was no indication that anybody was moving about the house or doing anything different. So it's very hard to determine if they both passed at the same time or how close they passed together. We're trying to put that information together, and obviously with the assistance of the Office of the Medical Investigator. And I think the autopsy report is going to be key to this investigation.
Let me bring in the fire chief here. Is carbon monoxide poisoning or a gas leak, has that been ruled out definitively, or is that still a potential cause here?
Yeah, good morning. We, at the time of the incident, we did not determine anything that was in the house with our meters that was concerning towards our guys doing the searches. So at the time of the incident, we did not find anything in the home at the time.
But there had been some time that had passed, it appears, from when they passed to when they were found. Does that complicate the question at all in terms of, if there had been some kind of leak, would it have dissipated perchance?
It possibly could. That was a home with natural gas in it, so it could have. Yeah, there's a lot of unanswers there. When we arrived, we made sure that our people, as well as the sheriff, were safe, and there was nothing when we found. We also went back again yesterday to do another round of searches with the sheriff department, and we didn't find anything as well.
Well, I understand that this was a very large property. Can you give us a little more on the layout, and were the bodies close proximity to each other or far apart?
So when my paramedics arrived, we found one of the deceased bodies in the living room area. In one of the areas of the house, and the other one was a little farther apart. Yes, it was a very large home. It took a while for all of us to locate.
Sheriff, let me get back to you. The front door says it was open and not secure. That was in the search warrant affidavit. So was it just unlocked, or was it ajar, wide open?
Well, the information that I gathered from the investigators was there were several doors that were unlocked at the residence. I believe the front door was closed but unlocked, unsecured. There was one door that was ajar, and that was towards the rear of the residence. That two of the dogs that survived were coming in and out of the residence. So, there's a little bit of conflicting stories, and based on emergency response and things, we're not sure if that door was open upon the arrival of emergency personnel, or if that, if it was open upon entry of emergency personnel. So that's another question and something that we just need to answer.
Sheriff, that was in the affidavit is that there was an opened prescription bottle, potentially with pills splayed out. I understand medical privacy. You're not at liberty to say what that prescription was, but let me just get at it a different way. Do you believe it may be possible that that prescription could be related in any way to the deaths that we've seen here?
That's obviously very important at the scene. That information was collected. That information was passed to the Office of the Medical Investigator to help them make a determination. So yes, that we're looking at that specifically, and other medications, of course, that were in the possibly in the residence. So that is something of concern.
Yeah, and the toxicology report, which will look at that. That is what's the timeline on that? I assume that will help answer some of these questions.
Based on my experience, the toxicology report could take some time. It could take up to 3 months, or even possibly longer. It just depends, how busy the laboratory is. But we're hoping it comes sooner than later, so we can answer some of these questions, and hopefully it'll help us in our investigation to determine and help OMI determine the manner and cause of death.
Yeah, bottom line, is there a working theory here? Are you still no foul play? What's your sense of what may have happened?
I think I'm pretty confident that there is no foul play, just based on the lack of evidence of foul play. But we, of course, we're not ruling that out. Again, I think the autopsy results, the official results, are going to help us steer us in the right direction. That could change, obviously, and we're not ruling that out. This is an open investigation. It's a couple days old, and so we're putting together the timeline, figure out all the evidence, and the autopsy is key, and that is going to take some time. So I hope a little bit of patience on the family's part, on everybody's part, so we can have some answers into these deaths.
Yeah, and really quick to Chief Moya, it was your paramedics who were first on the scene there. Is it still your belief, there was some wording in the search warrant affidavit that it looked as though the two may have just fallen? Is that still your belief?
Yeah, we arrived on scene. My paramedics did do an evaluation, and it was obvious. We didn't do any life-saving measures. So at the time, we didn't really need to get any closer due to the fact that it was an obvious sign of death.
Sheriff Mendoza, Chief Moya, I thank you for your time this morning, and I appreciate you being with us. Thank you.
All right, everybody. Obvious that they were dead. He was dead, Mr. Gene Hackman. Surveillance of the area where they live, very massive size home. Don't know the acreage, but you can see it's not a small home. Some might wonder why would these couple be living in such a massive sized home with their age, and thinking about mobility issues, because you can circumnavigate. It's not a one level house, so they had different levels So you would think as a person gets older, you have to think about, naturally them falling, hurting themselves, being able to get up to get to help if they're not near the phone or don't have a phone near them. So we can ask that question of size house at their age. I'm going to give you a backdrop on the said information. Once again, if you have a problem with the information, the post is the source. So this is information that they are bringing. I just picked the article, ran with it. All right, here we go. Actor Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy Arakawa dead in their Santa Fe, New Mexico home on Wednesday, leaving film lovers around the world mourning the everyman actor whose long and storied career in Hollywood spanned 100 screen credits and 2 Oscar wins. And they will be paying tribute to Mr. Gene Hackman at the Oscars this Sunday. While officials did not see any signs of forced entry or foul play, the circumstances around their deaths were nonetheless suspicious enough in nature to require a thorough search and investigation, according to an affidavit from Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office filed Thursday. Here's what we know so far about the investigation into the cause of their deaths. The facts. Hackman, 95, had been living in Santa Fe with Arakawa, a classical pianist, for several decades. Sheriff's deputies found both Hackman and Arakawa dead in their home. Their 3 dogs was also deceased. Their bodies showed signs of decomposition, investigators said, indicating that they appeared to have been dead for some time. The cause of death for both Hackman and Arakawa is still unknown. There were no signs of forced entry or foul play, officials said. On Wednesday, 2 maintenance workers arrived at the home and became concerned after receiving no answer, the local sheriff's office said. Neighborhood security, conducting a welfare check, looked through the windows and spotted the couple unresponsive on the floor and called 911. Sheriff's deputies were dispatched at about 1:45 p.m. to the home, where they found the front door ajar and the couple's bodies in different rooms, according to the affidavit, which was obtained by the Washington Post. Deputies found Arakawa on the floor of a bathroom near the front door. A black space heater was lying on the floor near her head, while an oil bottle and pills had been scattered on the bathroom countertop, according to the affidavit. Hackman was found lying in the mudroom with his walking cane and a pair of sunglasses nearby. Deputies investigating the scene indicated that it appeared as though both Hackman and Arakawa had fallen suddenly. The affidavit states both were fully clothed. A preliminary autopsy report found no external trauma to either individual. One of the couple's 3 dogs was found dead in a bathroom closet about 10 to 15 feet from Arakawa's body, according to authorities. A second dog was found alive next to Arakawa's body. Wow, wait a minute. Let me repeat that. 3 dogs was found dead in the bathroom closet. Now, I think there might be some conflict about this closet business. So if there's some conflict, don't come from me, because as I said, everybody's information is going to be different. So, 3 dogs was found in a bathroom closet about 10 to 15 feet from Arakawa's body, according to authorities. A second dog was found alive next to Arakawa's body, while the third was found alive outside of the home. Okay, so we have 1 dog by the victim and another one outside, which they said the door was open where they could get in and out, and 1 dead. But my understanding that was incorrect about the closet. It wasn't in a closet. It was just in a crate in the bathroom. Arakawa had bloating in her face and mummification in both hands and feet. According to the affidavit, indicators that she may have been dead for some time, while Hackman also showed similar signs of death. Mummification is a post-mortem phenomenon in which a body dries out in a way that preserves the skin and soft tissue, giving a leathery, parchment-like appearance. Wow. Noemi Procopio, a forensic scientist at the University of Central Lancashire in Britain, explained in an email. The process can take days or months, depending on the environmental conditions, which need to be dried and ventilated. That preservation, Procopio said, can provide investigators a number of clues. For example, whether a body was moved after death, early signs of mummification would indicate a person had been dead for at least 24 hours, she said. Wow. The deputies first arrived on the scene said that nothing appeared to be out of place. The affidavit states there were no signs that somebody had rummaged through the residence or had taken anything from it. Well, is that true? That nothing was taken? Because if doors are unlocked, that means a person could come in and out. Allegedly, some maintenance workers found them through a window or through a door, looked through a window and notified the security of this, I guess, subdivision to let them know that there was somebody lying on the floor. They saw them lying on the floor through the windows. The maintenance workers told investigators that their last contact with the couple was approximately 2 weeks before, that they rarely saw them in person, typically communicating with them by text message or phone. The fire department found no signs of carbon monoxide poisoning. The Santa Fe City Fire Department and the New Mexico Gas Company conducted separate investigations into whether there was a carbon monoxide leak or poisoning or a gas leak, the affidavit said. The fire department did not locate signs of a carbon monoxide leak or poisoning. Detective Roy Arndt wrote in the affidavit, adding, as of now, there are no signs or evidence indicating there were any problems associated to the pipes in and around the residence. More than 400 Americans die of unintentional CO control and prevention. A hallmark of a CO poisoning is that it can affect an entire household at once, as few know when they are inhaling the odorless, colorless gas. The gas is often emitted when fuel-burning appliances in homes are not ventilated properly, and is the reason most homes are required by law in the United States to have CO detectors installed. Investigators consider the deaths suspicious enough to warrant a search. Art wrote that the circumstances surrounding the couple's deaths and how they were found required further investigation. He wrote that the open front door, the fact that Hackman and Arakawa were found in separate rooms, and the signs of a gas leak all made the circumstances surrounding their deaths suspicious enough in nature to require a thorough search and investigation. The open pill bottle and scattered pills near Arakawa, combined with the space heater being moved and the presence of one deceased dog while the remaining two were healthy, also contributed to why there's sufficient probable cause for the issuance of the search warrant, Art wrote. So what we have to ask ourselves, what role does the space heater play? What role does the pills play that were on the countertop in the bathroom where Mrs. Betsy was found? One dog in the crate. Did the dog normally stay in the crate in the bathroom? Why would it be in the crate in the bathroom? Why were the doors unlocked? Were they just out rummaging around through the house, doing anything outside, gardening or whatever, when one fell, hurt himself, or one unalived himself, or what are we saying here? Don't quite know. 1 second, everybody. Oh, aloha. How are you? Aloha. One second, sweetheart. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much. To get some nonsense out the chat. Thank you. Okay. Okay, so once again, the space heater being moved. So then you have to ask yourself, how did they know the space heater was moved? How big was the space heater? The size of the space heater? Is it heavy, metal, plastic? What are we talking about? Okay. One deceased dog, while the remaining two were healthy, also contributed to why, once again, there was sufficient probable cause to issue a warrant, search warrant. In his request for a search warrant, investigators wanted to collect material that could help them determine the cause of death, including biological material, trace evidence, latent fingerprints. While there were no immediate signs or indications of blunt force trauma, the search warrant also asked for permission to seize any blunt force objects in case the Office of Medical investigations later determined otherwise. Investigators have also requested carbon monoxide and toxicology tests for both individuals. The sheriff's office the results of which are pending. The Santa Fe County Animal Control Division is working with the family to ensure the safety of the couple's remaining 2 dogs. The Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office will be holding a news conference to provide an update on the investigation at 3 p.m. local time. This article was uploaded 3 hours ago, and I am on Eastern Standard Time, 12:24 p.m. Friday. Once again, condolences to the family, friends of Mr. Gene and Mrs. Betsy, who've been married for quite a few years. Most of you know Mr. Gene Hackman is a very well-known, talented actor. God rest his soul. 95 years of age. He lived a very long time. So let's go with the obvious information. 3 dogs, 1 dead. 1 in a crate dead, 1 beside the lady of the house, alive, that dog alive, and then another dog outside. So we have 1 dog roaming outside. Where was that dog found? Other dog is by the victim, the Mrs., and the other dog is in a crate dead. Doors ajar. No foul play allegedly, no blunt force trauma allegedly, but objects will be seized just in case at a later date. That's what's been discovered by the medical examiner. Pills scattered about. What happened? Overdose, deliberate by the Mrs. Could it be she found her husband dead, felt like she couldn't live without him? Or maybe she started having chest pains. So now we got to ask ourselves, what is the medicine that's on the counter? Heart pills, high blood pressure pills, cholesterol pills, anxiety pills. Or as I said, she just grabbed something, maybe, hey, he's gone. I can't live without him. Take some pills. What happened? Was he going out the door, coming in when he fell? Which direction was he facing in the mudroom? As if he was going inside the door. Was that also the door that was open? They said the rear door was open where a dog could get out. Could that be the doorway area where Mr. Hackman was found in the mud room? Is that to the rear of the house? Why didn't this cop tell us this in this commentary with the Today Show? He just said they were found in different rooms. Why didn't he want to tell us which area? Because obviously, the Washington Post got the affidavit, which verified he was in the mud room and she was in the bathroom. When was the last time family members talked to Mr. Hackman and Mrs. Betsy? Were they close to their children, relatives? I believe they were recluses, stayed to themselves. Why is that? I also read another article that says she had him on a strict diet. How long has he been on a strict diet, or was he even on one at the time of death? Could it be that they ate something poisonous? I have heard of mention of that, of a couple out west went to a very nice restaurant and they ate some poisonous, I believe it was mushrooms, and they both died. So could this be that they ate something that was bad, poisonous, seafood, or some type of wild mushrooms, some type of wild plant, poisonous plant? Don't know. Asking all okay? Okay, I've had enough of this. Have some respect for these people. They're dead, okay? People need to grow up. 2 dead elderly people. Show some respect. What happened to Mr. Hackman and Mrs. Betsy? Could it be, as I said, if there's no foul play, no monoxide poisoning, carbon led to the deaths of these 2 people, could it be he passed away first and she became excited, overwhelmed, took her own life, or was having some type of stroke, blackout, don't know, got excited, didn't know what to do, ran to grab some meds, or took her life deliberately, or vice versa? She fallen, had a heart attack, stroke, blackout, and he got excited. Maybe he was going out the door trying to get help. So you don't know. Reaching for a phone, trying to find a phone. That's why I said, which direction was he facing in the mudroom? As if he's walking out or coming in. How long have these two been deceased inside of their home? That's very important. All of the information is going to be important because now if they can knock out monoxide poisoning or any type of gas leak or anything, as they say, odorless, colorless, you can't see, you can knock those things out. That's going to go to what they ate, what's in the body, any type of trauma to the body, natural causes, who had access to the house, who had a key to the house, who last came to the house. They said it didn't like it was rummaged through. Is everything in its place as it should be? All monies, jewelry, checkbooks, credit cards? Hope so. Because it'd be a shame to hear otherwise, that this is foul play. So I'm praying that it's not. Because you're talking about elderly people, for God's sake. But we know we have ruthless people out here who don't really care. So I'm hoping that both died of natural causes. What happened to Mr. Hackman and Mrs. Betsy? When's the last time someone talked to them on the phone, video chat? Where's the closest relatives? You have to ask all those questions as well. Is he close to his children? He has 3 children. Didn't hear that she had any children. Does she have any children? When was the last time Mr. Gene talked to his daughter, son, daughters, whomever, sister, brother, cousin, somebody, great nephew or great nephew, somebody in the family? Did someone talk to them that day, that night, previous night, excuse me? That's going to be informational. The mood of both people also. Who will attest to the mood of both of these people? Happy, depressed, sad, any health diagnosis recently for either party? He was a very frail man. He looks nothing like his old self, as you see here. That's not how he looked. And I guess the recent photographs, he had aged quite a bit, Mr. Hackman. So let's see if we'll pull up a more modern, up-to-date photograph of the couple. They had aged quite a bit. You can see him in his glory days. When you're talking about a man almost 100 years of age, that's a long time living on top of this dirt. This is Mr. Chief Brian Moya. So they've got fire department. That's how they were looking, I believe, recently. Don't know how old that picture is. But you can see there he looks very frail, very thin, walking on a cane, needing help. So you have to factor in all those things in a house. Walking in and out, trip hazards, rugs, anything in the way to obstruct walking. Could he even walk? See, you got to ask all those questions. What was his state? Wheelchair bound, using a scooter in the house, or one of those little push walkers with the wheels? What about her? What was her state? Could she get around? Could she walk well? Were they still driving? Could they drive? Could they see well? Also, could they hear well? Those things you have to ask. Most people are going to probably think he was in worse shape than her, perhaps, because he in good shape, someone said. So I don't know. But you have to ask all those questions, especially when you're talking about 2 people deceased and possibly dying at the same time or nearing the same time. Once again, is this foul play or natural causes for both? Could it be one died before the other one and the other person became excited and, as they say, died from a broken heart, or took their own life, or had a stroke or heart attack? We remember this with, what was that? Was it Debbie Reynolds, her daughter, when she died? Remember? She had a heart attack on the airplane, and the next day, the mother ended up dying. And some will say she died from a broken heart. Her daughter passed away, and then she later went home and died herself. And I have heard of cases like this with many elderly people. One will pass away, and one will end up dying either the same day or days later. Because maybe it is possible that a person can die from a broken heart. Then some will say, no, it's natural causes. They were going to die at the same time or near the same time. I'm not going to say that because I don't know. I'm never going to say that. It was their time. I do believe you can die from a broken heart. Then you're talking about being so elderly, you're getting yourself all worked up and crying. It would be easy to have a heart attack or stroke, being upset. Once again, condolences to this family, the family members, but I am curious to the dynamic of the outside family. Who last saw these people physically? Like went in the house, visited, stayed overnight, came into town. Who lived in town or nearby New Mexico that could stop by, visit them? Who had access to the house, keys to the house? All that's going to matter, especially depending on the reports. Because if anything comes back foul play, then now you've got to dissect who was last at the house, who's telling the truth of being at the house, coming and going. Did they have CCTV footage, surveillance cameras? Did they have adequate security? Is there any way a person could have gotten in the house undetected? Did they let anybody come in the house to stay, visit? Nurses, caregivers, anybody bringing medical equipment, cable, Wi-Fi, whatever. Because people have to have somebody to work on their house at some point. As you heard, these are pest control people that came by, and I guess they couldn't get in or something, so they called security, and security, came, and then the rest is history. So allegedly, that was their visits was like what? I don't know, maybe they come by bi-weekly to do pest control. I read that in another content. What happened to Gene Hackman and Miss Arakawa, Mrs. Betsy? Is this natural? Are these deaths natural causes? One natural and one suicide? Both foul play, both natural? What's the truth? I got one more story I want to bring you. It's a case I brought you from Pontiac, Michigan. And an African-American female has a cleaning company up there in Michigan, and she was hired to do cleaning services for this condo where 3 children were left unattended in filth, squalor, and fecal matter. She has decided to give her commentary to the news to explain what she saw and witnessed inside of this dirty condo. This is so abhorrent and just sickening to believe that people live like this and they're not even deceased. They're walking, talking, but they choose to live in filth, abuse their children, animals. And luckily, these 3 children are alive. They survived, been there possibly almost 5 years, unattended by their mother. She's currently in jail, $250 million bond. She has not posted bond, so she's not going anywhere. She also faces life in prison. The children are allegedly with the father's father, their grandfather. My understanding, they don't really know these people well. So this is their chance to get to know the people. The mother had a total of 4 children. The last child, 9, was living with his father at the time when the landlord and police made entry into the house, I believe it was Valentine's Day, and saw this uninhabitable home with 3 children living there in total squalor, filth. And as I said before, this place needs to go to the studs. No way it ain't gonna go to the studs. It's got to be broke down from every sheetrock, flooring, subflooring, countertops, appliances, cabinets, everything. Let's go to Pontiac, Michigan, everybody. Welcome to the Vault XL.
Tough, both physically, to go into this apartment here where these 3 kids lived for nearly 5 years. They're just deplorable conditions. Feces all over the place, garbage piled high, the toilets overrunning. It's just disgusting even thinking about it. And just the fact that someone had to go in there and clean it. It's the emotional toll. But let me introduce you to Kiara Mills and her North Cleaning Service and how she was the one that went in there. Take a look.
as I was walking down the crazy stairs with all the feces, like going to the basement, it was makeup smear. I had to stop, and I was looking, and then I looked around, and I'm like I visualized whoever, it was a kid that did that. They were screaming for help.
32-year-old Kiera Mills, who owns North Cleaning Service, had to clean this Pontiac apartment in which 3 kids lived in for nearly 5 years with no parental supervision, barely enough food, and whose mother is now facing child abuse charges. You knew what you were getting into. I mean, this was a bad house.
This bad. That's not even the word.
Kiera remembers last Saturday when she got the call to clean the place.
So all night I couldn't sleep. I'm telling my kids, I have 5 by the way. I'm telling my kids, I'm like, you guys, do you guys remember? They're like, yeah. I'm like, I have to go clean that house.
It took Kiera and her uncle nearly 8 hours to clean it.
I went over the walls with all the feces on the walls. I went over the walls at least about 10 times. No over-exaggeration, because I had to use SOS pad that I was scraping the paint off.
Kiera didn't say how much she got paid, but it wasn't much. And the house is still not ready to move into. Would you live in that house now after you clean it?
No. And I have a good cleaning services, and I still wouldn't. The floor has to get gutted out. The memories that's holding in that house, I will forever think about it.
Well, just going into this house where those 3 kids lived for years is really unthinkable. You can see over here, there is still a cease and desist sticker on the home from the Pontiac Building Department, meaning that by law, nobody can live into this house. All the appliances had to be taken out. The floor still needs fixing. There's still plenty to do over here. Now, a little update on the mother, who's in the Oakland County Jail right now on a $250 million bond, facing 3 counts of felony child abuse. She'll be in court on March 4th. That's the next time she'll be in court. And as far as Kiera Mills, the person that had to clean this place, well, apparently she's one of the most popular cleaners around. She posted a little bit on Facebook, and she's got about a couple of million views. And she says she's booked up for weeks into the future. I am live, and I'm in Pontiac. I'll send it back to you.
Well, Charlie, with those conditions, we know that some county workers even had to use hazmat suits to go in there and bring things out. Why wasn't the place and do we even know how the health of the children at this point, how they're doing?
Well, a couple things. First of all, the hazmat from the Oakland County Sheriff's Department, they went in there with hazmats. Kiera actually went in there. She said that she had all kinds of masks and things. We saw a little video there, but she was it was very difficult for her. She had a bunch of gloves and things when she was in there as well. So that's one thing. As far as the kids are safe right now. They're living with family members, and we understand that they are okay, at least physically okay. Mentally, we just don't know. I sense that we'll get a little more information about the mother and the relationship and just what happened at this place at the preliminary exam, which probably it's set for the end of March. I have a feeling it's going to be adjourned. It's the first time up. But again, there's still a lot more questions to be answered about why a mother could do this, and not 1, 2, 3 years, but almost 5 years here, dropping food off and then and just abandoning these kids. It's almost unthinkable. But to get in there, I don't know. Kiera, I don't know. She's got to be something special to do that.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll follow the story for sure.
Well, and what we saw and what we heard happening there, it seems like that place does need to be condemned or at least taken down to the studs and renovated, because it'll be interesting to see who would want to live in that place after that. Charlie, thanks.
All right, everybody, that's Fox 2. Let's go back to the African-American female who cleaned this place. Kiera Mills. I'm going to go to her Facebook page and check it out if I'm able to check out the live stream to see if she shows most of the content of what she saw and witnessed inside of that condo. Very nice condo, very nice area. 660 Lydia Lane, Pontiac, Michigan. Homes, singular homes with garages. This condo unit had a garage parked in the back of the building. So you walk around the corner, there'll be rows of garages per each apartment. Very nice and neat. Garbage cans sitting beside the garage doors for your convenience. So then we have to ask the ultimate, why didn't these children go out of the house? Number one. Why didn't they call for help? Number two. Why didn't they take the trash and just fill it up in the garbage? Roll the garbage can in the damn house and fill up the trash. Once it's full, push it back outside. Hello, Solo. Thank you for joining me. Why did these children not leave? Did she threaten them? It's been said that she threatened them. What did she say? Don't know. Why didn't they call? They had phones. Each had their own phone. I find that strange. You're going to threaten the kids, but then you're going to give them access to a phone so they could call help for help? So maybe she felt like they won't leave. They won't call for help. I put enough fear in them. I threatened them good enough for them not to call. This is a very baffling story. The lady you're seeing here on the screen is one of the cleanup women. So I believe they cleaned this house in stages. Number one, first group of people just to remove the junk, the debris, the furniture. Boom. Number two, she comes in, her own company, and do what I call the mud work. That's scraping the shit off the walls, the floor, so on and so forth. 2 stages. Cleanup guys, which I showed you a video of that a week ago. Guys hauling all the shit out in black plastic bags, dump truck their own site. And then stage 2, this lady. She and her uncle come in and they do the grit. That's actually touching the shit and doing the heavy cleaning. We also hear that she didn't make that much money. How much did she get paid? Let me say this, and I'm going to tap out of here. You couldn't have called me to clean that place because there's no dollar amount to clean up boo-boo. Let me make that clear. Now, some are going to say, well, that's a part of the job. That's what you signed up to do. No. You're not going to pay me? Why am I going to do this? Hello, Susan. Thank you for joining me. You're going to pay me for my worth. You're going to pay me for my worth. Do you understand what I'm saying? See, that's what's wrong with people right now. They don't want to pay you for your worth. There is no dollar amount to clean up fecal matter. Let me make that clear. There's filth going in to the front door, to the back. The back is the stairs going down to the garage. So that is letting you know there's filth from A to Z. Bedrooms, stair landings, carpet, bedrooms, kitchen, bathrooms. You already saw pictures from the bathroom. Those were the first pictures revealed to the public. Fecal matter coming out the toilet. Shit was in the tub. And this lady's going to now come to the news and tell us they didn't pay her well? So who paid her? The owner of the condo or the city? You all ought to be ashamed of yourselves. See, this is the shit I'm talking about right here. Nobody wants to pay people their worth. Everybody wants something for nothing. Let me tell you something about being in places like that, because I told you all about a neighbor years ago. He had mental issues, and his sister had to go clean his apartment out. I can't remember if he was getting evicted or put out. It was something. And she wanted to clean the balcony because he had left the balcony door open and pigeons had shitted everywhere. And it was horrible. And the smell was all in the apartment. And I told her, you're just going to have to just take everything and throw it out in a dumpster because the smell was so bad in there. And I said, and I don't know what you're going to do about the balcony because there's no way you're going to be able to clean it up with your hands. You're not really professional. You're going to have to put some type of, solvent down just to break up the boo-boo because it was hard. So imagine the smell in there. Okay, I walk out of the apartment with her. You could smell it. It's in my membranes because that means it's on me because I went in there. Now, naturally, I didn't know how bad it was until I went up there with her. But I told her, you're not going to be able to clean here. It's dangerous to even be in here because it's airborne now since he left the fucking balcony door open. Okay, now fast forward to this situation. The children were in there almost 5 years. Do you know how dangerous and hazardous it was to go in there and clean that hazmat suit or not? We get it. It has to be done. But the point is, you need to pay somebody their worth to clean it out. That's my point. You had the guys to go in to haul the stuff out. That's the bedding, furniture, lamps, all that type of stuff, trash. Okay, that's group one. Then I guess she comes in, she's group 2. She didn't have nobody work with her but just her uncle. And she's like, oh yeah, it took 8 hours just to clean the walls. And I don't know if I believe that. I want you to think about that for a minute. Almost 5 years of filth and shit, and it took you 8 hours between 2 people to clean walls, staircases. You didn't pick up nothing off the carpet either. You didn't vacuum up nothing from the carpet. You didn't put nothing down to dissolve. clean the tub out, the sink, the toilet. Well, who cleaned the toilet out? Because everybody knows you're supposed to strap that down with tarp, tape it down, and then remove the whole toilet. Can't clean the toilet. It wouldn't be sanitary to try to clean the toilet and put it back in. Come on now. No, you had to have been in there working longer than 8 hours, even with 2 people, because this is 5 years of filth, of God knows, blood, fecal matter, snot, whatever else. You understand what I'm saying? And just imagine had they had dogs up in there. Hell, the dogs would have been dead because they wouldn't have had no damn dog food. This woman is despicable. And as I told you all in my commentary the past 2 weeks in covering this story, I won't doubt the mother was nasty even before she abandoned her children. That's the possible reason why she left them in there. She living in there. She checked out of being a mother and she didn't want to keep the house clean. And that's how it exacerbated. I won't doubt that, as I said, she was filthy when she had her 3 children, 4 children together. That's possible reason why the 4th child was taken out of her custody. He probably went and told the father, or the people saw signs. The boy wasn't clean, didn't look healthy. Maybe he smelled, had an odor. See, nobody's going to tell you that. Oh, yeah, by the way, my little boy, he was nasty. He was filthy. Hair wasn't combed, had cooties, lice, whatever. Who's going to tell? Who's going to tell the truth? There's a reason why baby daddy got child number 4 and took him out of her care. And she even went to court telling the judge, I can't do it. I've got problems. I don't have enough money to take care of myself, my kids. And that goes to why didn't DHS check on her and her other kids? You're going to have her go to court and say she can't take care of baby number 4, but then you don't check on the other kids that came before? That's why this story doesn't make any sense. She's been filthy. No decent woman, even if she didn't want to raise her kids, she wouldn't leave her kids to live in no filth. If you can pay the rent, you can bring Lysol, detergent, soap, washing powder. You can find dozens of places cheap to buy washing powder, soap, shampoo, conditioner. Come get the boys every 2 weeks, get the haircut, depending on, which kid was which. She had two girls and a boy that were left behind. 12-year-old, 13-year-old girl, and then a 15-year-old boy. Come get the boy every 2 weeks, get his hair cut, keep the girl's hair braided up. She could have left soap. She could have left detergent. She could have showed them how to wash clothes, fold clothes. You're going to abandon them, then show them what to do. You're going to leave them. You're just going to leave them there to shit on themselves and wipe themselves. What about the girls? Did they have a cycle? See, I asked all those questions. Who's to say the girls weren't menstruating? Can you imagine walking around bleeding and don't even have a sanitary napkin or a tampon? This shit is serious. Think about that, girls menstruating. Making a bowel movement and you can't wipe yourself because you don't have toilet paper. Even if they had towels, they would still be soiled and nasty from the previous uses. Stay woke now. Boo-boo on the walls. You heard her talking about makeup going down the stairs. She thinks the kids put the makeup there. Screaming and hollering, wanting out. Well, they should. Help me, help me, help me, please. We don't got food. We ain't got no mama. She's left us here. That's what's so scary about this story. Not just that they were abandoned, they weren't loved, but that the kids didn't have the fortitude to defy the mother and walk out the door. They didn't defy her by calling 911, calling somebody else. Hey, help us, she's left us. So that's what we have to ask ourselves. How long would this have gone on had she kept paying the rent? That is the only reason why we're talking about this story today. Kelly Bryant stopped paying the rent in October 2024. By December, she stopped contact with the landlord. By February, the landlord obviously was fed up. He or she contacted the police, allegedly worried about the welfare, which I think is a bunch of bullshit. And that's police chief saying, Police didn't even expect to find a human in there, let alone 3. And the children hid because they were fearful and traumatized. They were traumatized, fearful, Stockholm syndrome, under dictatorship from a person who didn't even live in the house. That shows you how strongly controlled. I want you to think about everything I've said. How these children had access to get out. They were not barricaded in. All they had to do was open the door, open a window, call somebody on the phone she provided, yet they never called and never walked out. A neighbor last week said the children yelled out the window, complimenting him on his car 2 or 3 times, but he had no idea they were living like that, living in filth. He also claims he saw the mother a few times sitting out in the front of the building with someone in their car. I asked all the questions. Did the mother drive? Did she have a car? Where was she staying? The news has also found the lady where she was staying, the home of some woman. Somebody in the chat said it was a boyfriend's mother's house. He's locked up. I don't know what's the truth, but hell, maybe she likes men that stay incarcerated. That's her choice. The point is, she didn't choose her children. She didn't choose her children. So whoever she was staying with, you now know you had a filthy, dirty bird living and slumbering in your house. The fact they said she also had other children around her. Whose kids were they? Now you know the truth about her as a mother. And we also have to question her family. Where did you all think her children were? Checkmate. We have a white lady who went to the news to say she used to be married to Miss Kelly's brother. She said that she's always been a horrible mother and that she and the mother were very close, the grandmother. She said, so why wouldn't the grandmother question where the children are? Exactly. So somebody knew that this woman was hiding her children or did something to her children, and nobody even cared to call the police or the Department of Human Services. Why not? Because 9 times out of 10, you're just like her. You're filthy birds as well. Birds of a feather flock together. Checkmate. See, there's always somebody that knows something. They're just not willing to turn the person in. It happens every day. Child abuse cases, child neglect, child molestation, child rape, murder. It's all the same. Somebody knows somebody's kid's missing and they don't say shit. She posted to Facebook wearing scanty clothes, coochie hanging out her clothes, and ain't nobody wondering, hey, where your kid at? Kids. Bet she ain't talking about them on Facebook before her arrest. Can't post pictures of them because they're looking like, little shit buckets running around. Excuse my language. She ain't posting that. She's going to post her makeup, lip gloss, and her lace front wigs, but she ain't posting her kids. Then she got the nerve to talk about sex on her Facebook page about, I'm not the type to be quiet during sex. Who talks like that? Oh, filthy rat. Then she got the nerve to share destinations for where you can get free food from the food pantry. But you ain't got the same fortitude to take that same food to your kids. But you're going to tell somebody else where they can go get free food. Are you hearing this? This shows you the mindset of this black crow. Just a dirty bird, a filthy, nasty, dirty bird. And more than likely, her mammy, she dirty, nasty too. Because you learned that behavior from somewhere. It's in the gene pool somewhere. Where's her father? I don't know. They did not. But the Caucasian lady used to be married to Kelly's brother, and she said she was never a good mother. Now, what she meant by that, I'm not sure. She didn't go into details to the news, but she should have elaborated. And the reporter, you should have asked, well, explain to us what you mean she's not a good mother. What did you see and notice when you were last around her? When was the last time you saw her? See, you can't leave stuff open-ended for us to sit here and try to figure it out and put it together. We got to wait till they go to trial and get to say it 411. Because naturally what you hear now is just 1% of what you're going to hear when trial starts. I'm sure there are many people that have stories about Kelly Bryant. I'm sure there are many men that's got stories about Kelly Bryant. And what's sad is she's living in somebody's house, and possibly they had no idea they had this filthy bird living in their house that had her kids around the corner from her, living in filth in a nice condo. Take a search of the house, 660 Lydia Lane. It's a very nice name. That's what was so shocking when I did the Google search. And I kept saying, they got to be kidding me. They must got the address wrong. Oh, it wasn't wrong. That's the whole point, right? You don't know people. You drive down tree-lined streets, pretty houses, manicured lawns, and you're thinking everything's great in that pretty little house, that nice-sized mansion. You have no idea who lives there. You have no idea what's going on in there because you don't know people. And most people wouldn't believe that somebody would be living in filth like that in a nice condo. But I remember a story I saw about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. There was a white couple. They were drugged out. I believe it was Illinois, Ohio. They lived in a 3-level mansion, really nice house, big old house. And boy, they was shocked when they walked in there, the police. Drug paraphernalia everywhere. They said that house was filthy and disarray as well. Children didn't have adequate, things they needed. Food. Because it was a drug house. Parents were getting high. So instead of them living the good life and taking care of their children, doing things with their children, they were too busy geeking, smoking meth and shit. Now, I'm sure the neighbors probably have some nice stories to tell. Because usually base heads keep company. So I'm sure neighbors probably noticed a lot of traffic going in and out of the house. And they started looking at the company thinking, these don't look like no well-to-do people. So you see, it takes all kinds. White, black, Hispanic, don't matter. You don't know people. Well-dressed, going to church, going to work. You think they're nice people. You see them in public, they're laughing, they're talking, but you don't know they're beating their kids, tying their kids up, starving their kids, locking them in rooms, putting chains and locks on the door. As I brought you the case out of Texas, 19-year-old autistic teenager, female, found dead, curled up in her floor, concrete floor. Why wasn't she in her bed? Did she even have a bed? But yet there's a picture they showed to the news of her lying on a mattress with no sheets, a comforter on the bed, just a blanket. Why would you even show that picture to the news? See, that's the shit I'm talking about. Just blatant disrespect for people, children. Why is your child in a room without sheets on the mattress? Because you didn't care. But let you all tell her, she's a great mom. Is that what you said, police chief? Nobody had anything negative to say about her. Well, the child didn't have no sheets on her bed. Little twin sheets don't cost that much. Sheet sets, a twin set, come on. Even buying a king size sheet set. We're all grown here. See, I pay attention to everything. I look at everything. Nothing gets by, Queen. Nothing. I look at everything. That was the first thing I said. Why would the mother even take this picture? Who took this picture? Lying in a bed with no sheets on the bed. Bare ball ass mattress with just a lightweight blanket on top of the child. For what reason? And why did they find her on a concrete floor? Where's the flooring? Who put the wounds on the kid? Why do you have padlocks on the door? Stay woke, everybody. She's combative, she's this, she's that. Well, why didn't you call Adult Protective Services to come get your kid? Hey, I can't handle her anymore. She's out of control. She's fighting us, she's biting us, she's hurting us. But no, you're going to keep getting that disability check. See, Queen knows how people are. I see the worst of man and woman every day. I see what people do to disabled people. They'll put them in apartments and they take their check and do what they want with it. May pay their rent, may not pay their rent. They do the bare fucking minimum because they don't want to take care of them. And instead, the chief want to come and tell us about what he heard, type of mother she was years ago. I don't care about none of that. How was she a mother in 2025? Well, she ain't a good mother because she's in jail now. So somewhere she dropped the ball. She got tired of taking care of this autistic, nonverbal child. Okay? That's the point. Who she was when the little girl was 11, 12, that's past tense. That ship has sailed. We're talking about right now, not yesteryear. Same thing with this case here. This lady went there to clean this house. She had to step into the abyss for a few fucking dollars. And there's no telling how long Kelly was absent from her kids, actually, when she checked out from child rearing. That's why you need to keep your legs closed. Or if you're going to open your legs, use protection. That goes for men and women. If you don't want to get pregnant, then use birth control or abstain. You a man, put a condom on. You can't cry later. Oops, I got her pregnant. Oops, I got this one pregnant. Oh, I don't want to take care of these kids. Well, keep your legs closed. You don't want to get pregnant, keep your legs closed. You can't go to court crying about my life is hard. That's a choice to have all those kids. Nobody tells you to have all those fucking kids. You know, at some point, everybody has to own the part they play. We are in desolate times. Yes, we are. This ain't Little House on the Prairie no more. This ain't the Brady Bunch. Shit costs. Shoes, clothes, detergent, food. But it is a choice to have sex and procreate. And you should know by now, the more kids you have, the harder your life is going to be, whether you have help or not. And God forbid you don't have any family or friends to help you babysit, give you a few dollars here and there. You are screwed. Because the average person with no skill set, no degree, is barely making it on a job with one person. I live in a that was known for mediocre living. It's over $1,000-something now for just a 1-bedroom. And the average person don't even make enough to pay $1,100 in rent. Let me make that clear. So now you factor in, you don't have a skill set, barely can read and write, barely can count. And now you got 2, 3 kids, and you got to now pay for a car, gas, food, shelter, clothes, milk, formula, diapers, cleaning products, cell phone, basic necessities. Your ass got problems. So that's my point. Single people are barely living. Why do you want to go out here and have a bunch of children? Make their life hard for no damn reason. I say don't do it. Preserve your kitty cat. Preserve your penis. Treat it like it's gold. Just keeping it real. Like they say, it's time for everybody to start valuing themselves and their body parts. Treat your body part like it's gold. There is time for making children. Go have a baby when you are ready to have a kid and you can financially take care of yourself and a kid. You have money in the bank. You have savings. You have built a career. You've got a place to sleep. You're not wanting for anything. And once again, the flip side is that even if you map your life out and think you got everything together, poof, voila, something bad can happen. Natural disaster, you get sick, evicted, anything can happen to you. And everybody knows that most people are one paycheck away from being homeless. So I don't advise anybody going out here making children. It's just no need. God said multiply, but he did not say endanger the life of another human. Subject a human to a hard life. And that's what people need to think about before going out here having a bunch of kids. Yourself to unnecessary struggles, then also subject your child to that. Children, it's not fair to them. And frankly, you come first, so you ought to think of self-preservation. I'm number one I'm going to live my life. Then I'm going to plan a family. And it's not saying it's not going to be, may not even enjoy motherhood, fatherhood, may not bond well with your kid. See, you don't ever know what's going to happen. Even plan. That's why you need to take your time. Because you don't want to end up a Kelly Bryant. You don't want to end up like the baby daddy going to jail. Whatever, don't know what these baby daddies did. The point is, they missed out on their children's upbringing, and then they come out. She wouldn't even let one of them see the kids. One of them had to fight to get his kid. Because this is what happens when you mate with people you don't know. And you see these stories all the time. Young people bickering and hollering with each other, fighting each other, arguing, going to court, arguing over child support, paternity. That ain't what you want for yourself. That ain't what you want for yourself. That's why you need to think before getting tangled up with people. Learn people. Learn yourself. All sex ain't good sex. Seriously. That's my commentary. This lady here, Miss Mills, Kiara Mills, cleaned this nasty condo. She basically didn't make a lot of money. I don't know what she got paid, but if they called me and told me what they were offering, if I felt like it wasn't but a couple of $100 or whatever, I wouldn't have taken it, quite frankly. You've got 5 kids. She lets us know that in this video. So why in the world would you take a low-paying cleaning job knowing you've got bills to pay, number one, you got 5 kids to feed, and also the place was filled with shit? Why would you risk your health knowing, as I just said, self-preservation? So you got to hang around and live for your children. Going in the hospital after shucking shit up your nose for hours maybe not have been the best solution. But this is what happens when you have to work. You take the job as it comes along. But what you always have to tell yourself, was it worth it? 2-man army. She might need to hire some other people with her for her company. Because I know I wouldn't have done the job for some nickels. Hell no. Hell no. You want the job done? You want to pay me for my time. You're not going to pay me no couple $100 to clean no shit-filled 3-bedroom condo from top to bottom with upstairs, downstairs, garage. Ain't no way. Hell no. Hell no. And right now, I am curious to how much this lady made here. Miss Mills. Because what you have to ask yourself, what type of cleaning are we talking about? Cleaning as in what? Scraping the shit up with what? Just Brillo pads and SOS pads. But you ain't putting no Fabuloso, bleach, nothing like that. You just shucking it up. Because we already know the place got to be gutted. So it really ain't a clean job. It's just picking the shit up. All's going to have to come down. All of it's going to have to come down. So my thing is, what does she actually do? Just clean the shit up. Still work. You're talking about almost 5 years worth of bowel movement. I'll let that sit right there. Thank you for your time. 2-part live, everybody. Gene Hackman and his wife, Mrs. Betsy, our found deceased in their New Mexico home. Investigation pending. Is it foul play, natural causes, death, then suicide? What happened? Homicide ×2? Don't know. When I get an update, I'll bring you that same information. And also, we'll be putting some shorts up this weekend pertaining to Sean Puffy Combs. This video here, Mr. Hackman and his wife, Mrs. Betsy, and a few other stories. Sebastian case. I'll put up a few shorts for the weekend. So feel free to check the queue for those said videos. They'll be like 15-second shorts. You all have a wonderful weekend. Be safe. Be aware of your surroundings. Mind the children. Hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful, short, as I call it, mini vacation this weekend. And if you'd like to donate to this great network, $ Beganji, 129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are always welcome during the live stream. Feel free to go back to the replay and check out my 3-hour video a few hours ago pertaining to the Proudfoots, their lifestyle, how are they living, are they happy, are they intimate? Yeah, I went to Belly the Beast. I'm asking all questions due to their behavior in the last news interview pertaining to the disappearance of their son. And check out my previous live streams on Sebastian Rogers. And the earlier live is with Mr. Nick Barris. He gives his synopsis of the investigation. So that was a 3-hour live from earlier. That's my commentary. You're welcome, Susan. Anytime, anytime. Well, and thank you all, my new subscribers. I really appreciate the love. And welcome to the network. Know that this is not a one-stop shop. I talk about different commentary on this network, lifestyles. Talk about shopping. We talk about hoarding. We talk about relationships. We talk about dirty buggers. We talk about true crime. We talk about a little bit of everything over here. So know that when you come in this playhouse, you're not going to hear the same type of commentary every day. So maybe later I'll come on late tonight when everything's settled down and the night is quiet. And we'll talk about relationships. That's what I want to talk about tonight. I want to talk about life. Would you stay with a liar? I think I'm going to put that on a poll. Take the poll and then join me late tonight. Get your wine and your whiskey or your cappuccino and join the queen for a nightcap on deception. Dirty deceivers. Around. I'll be back later. You're very welcome, sweetheart. God bless all of you. And once again, prayers for the 3 children of Pontiac, Michigan. Prayers for Sebastian Rogers, our beloved Summer Wells. Prayers for all children who have gone through the system, foster care system, abused, neglected. Prayers for their journey in life, because it's those little things that turn into big things. And it's those big things that happen to your life that can carve your journey into how you're going to live, how you're going to navigate. So let's pray for our children, and prayers for the Hackman family. Don't know what happened in New Mexico, but when I get an update pertaining to this veteran actor and his wife, I'll bring you an update pertaining to the death of Gene Hackman and Mrs. Betsy Arakawa. You're welcome, sweetheart. Amen. Thank you all so much. You have been listening to the Vault XL. All right, everybody, check my community page for the movie of the week. Very good movie, free on Tubi. Cellar Door. I said Cellar earlier. Cellar Door, very, very good movie with Lawrence Fishburne. It's a thriller. Put it together. Come back, tell me if you like it. And before it gets too late, I will put up a video for the weekend for your entertainment. In case some of you don't go to the picture show, going to the movies is very expensive now. So this is why I always bring you a movie of the week that you can watch either on cable or one of the apps, streaming apps. Of course, some of the movies you do have to pay for on certain apps. But anyway, I always like to bring you a movie of the week for your enjoyment. Once again, movie of the week, Cellar Door, free on Tubi. All right, everybody, I'm out of here. You've been listening to the Vault XL. Thank you.